Okay, welcome back to JR Oil Painting 101. Today's going to be a little bit different, just size-wise on the canvas. This is a 16 by 40. The reason I'm going this long is kind of a panoramic view. Uh, this is from my dad. So if you're watching, Dad, this is your Father's Day gift. You asked me to paint something for you in this length. Um, this is actually going to be a two-part canvas. This one, and we're going to add another one on the end on one end of it because he actually wanted it about 58 inches long, but I couldn't find the canvas that long. So we're going to start with this one, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here because it's going to be an interesting painting. I've never done one quite this long before, so we're going to have some fun with this one. My dad, he collects die-cast stuff, big die-cast cars and stuff. One of the last things, well, it's one of the last gifts that my mother bought my father for Christmas before she passed away was a some die-cast models of travel trailers and their tow vehicles, stuff like that. Well, he's got them sitting on a shelf that's about this long and wide, and he wants me to paint a backdrop for him. So this is what we're going to do. I thought it might make an interesting little video. So the colors we're going to use today is the Blues Brothers, Phthalo and Prussian Blue, the Greenies with Sap Green and Phthalo Green, Van Dyke Brown, Burnt Sienna, Black, Alizarin Crimson, Red, and then all the yellers. We got the Cadmium Yellow, Yellow Ochre, Indian Yellow, and of course, White, Titanium White. Okay, we're going to have a little fun with this one, hopefully. Now we're going to get our little big 2-inch brush here. We're going to start out with a nice little sky here. I got to wipe my brushes a little cleaner than they were last night when I threw it that second one. Didn't dry them off quite good enough, so we'll just rub them off. There we go. We're going to start off with some phthalo blue. Just tap a little blue into the end of the bristles here of your big 2-inch brush. I have a feeling we're going to be using a lot of this 2-inch brush with this painting because it's a monster. So here we go. We're just going to start one end and work our way back. Just get a nice little sky here. Excuse me while I go over here and get this. I may have to move the canvas a couple of times. So you can see what I'm doing way over here. But we'll see how that goes. The rest of this painting here. So we're just gonna leave some of that light color in there. I'm gonna do something about like that, and then just back and forth it, take some of the brush strokes out. And we got some light colors, some light areas, some darker areas. I like that in the sky. We're just gonna blend that out just a little bit. Now, I don't believe we're gonna put any water in this one. But we're gonna start out with a big old sweeping sky, about like that. Now we're gonna go ahead and put some clouds in this sucker because this thing is so huge. That's a big old sky. So we're gonna need a few clouds in this just to kind of even things out just a bit. I'll go into the titanium white with my little fan brush, the number 3. I like the little one. This is for you, those of you that maybe hadn't seen it. That's the number 3. That's the number 6. See, it's quite a bit bigger. It's quite a bit bigger. See, there he is. See, so anyway, this is what I like to use for clouds and such. You can make all kinds of stuff with this little fan brush, grass, trees, clouds, waterfalls, you name it, you got it. We're going to start in this corner over here because you can actually see this corner. Can't see that corner yet. Just tap in. I'm going to have to hold the canvas with one hand here. Tap in your basic cloud shape. However you think a cloud should look, just tap it in there. Get a little over here. Every once in a while, go over there and reload your brush for however big your cloud wants to be. If you want it a little more subdued, just keep tapping on it. It'll get the it'll pick up that undercolor. Now I did coat this thing with liquid white before I started, because this is a wet on wet technique, like I've said before, but I don't think I said it today. And in case I didn't mention it a while ago, my name is Jeff Robinson. I don't say that all the time when I'm making these videos, but I have a big old cloud here. There we go. Now, we're going to take let's go ahead and do this. I forgot to brush the brush yesterday. Okay. No, anyway, I'm going to take our 1-inch brush, I think, today, and we'll do the blending with it. Just go in circles, little tiny circles. You're just going to use that tip of the corner there on there and just kind of spin it around a little bit. Yeah, just kind of shake it up a bit. Stir it up. And soften all those brush strokes out just a little bit. It'll look kind of like a cloud shape here. That's all you're going to do. Just all the way through it. Yes. Yes. Tiny little circles here. Just spin her around there. Something about like that there. And we're going to take a little bit of the paint off that brush. It'll pick up some of that color underneath. Now you're going to just fluff her up there, just about like that. Nice and gentle, just barely touching that cloud. And you're not going to try not to hit the canvas, just hit the paint on the canvas. That's how light your touch needs to be on this. And then just very gently, just very gentle. Magnum Force strokes, just kind of take some of those little doers out. You got some hanging downs and stuff that maybe you don't want. And we're just going to just keep going. Blend it till you're happy with what you got there. We got a start of a nice little sky here. This is going to take a little while because this is a huge canvas we've got going on here. Now, we're going to go back into the titanium white. We're going to put a few more clouds in there. I'm going to show you how to put kind of overlap these clouds where you can actually see layers of clouds and stuff. So you want to leave this bottom edge, some of it showing, leave some of this dark behind it. If you're going to put a cloud in front of this one, just kind of tap it in and spin it around just a little bit. Tap her in. I do better with the tap marks than I do anything else, I think. And leave some of that as a separator there. And just, if you want a real contrast in between these two clouds, reload your brush 2 or 3 times and get some of that a little brighter white right in front of that one. If you want a real big cloud right there in front of him, just put a little bit in there, just about like that. There we go, something like that. And then we're going to take our 1-inch brush. You can do this with a 2-inch brush, but I already had a 1-inch brush that was dirty because I forgot to clean it last night. Might as well just keep going with this one. And just little tiny strokes, just little tiny circles. Whip it around there. You got to mix this up. Just the top corner of that brush. Just the top corner of that brush. Try not to disturb the upper edge of that cloud that you just made here. This cloud that we're blending out. Just Try not to disturb it too much. You can hit it every once in a while. And now we're just mixing in the body of the cloud. You know, wipe off some of that paint there that we had caught on there, and then just very gentle. And if you pick up a hair like I just did there, just take it and flip it off on the with your brush, corner of your brush there, and then just very gently, just very gently, very lightly. Apparently, I'm just going to fluff that cloud up just a bit. Take some of the paint off, and then just very gently back and forth just a little bit, and take some of the brush marks out of there. And I got another one that's on there. Come here, you little turkey. That little hair don't want to go. Want to stay on there. And then we do it. All right. He's being stubborn. We're gonna have to get another. Oh, you little. There it is. Sometimes you have to be forceful with that. And then we just take it out, blend it in there just a little bit. There we go. I like that. Wipe that old brush off just a bit. Reach over here and get my number 3 fan brush again, and wipe a little bit of that color off of it. It's a little more white on your fan brush. Now you can add just a touch of bright red to this and get a little sparkly cloud in here, and a little bit different color in there. Well, I went a little too much, I think. Yeah, that's all right. We put a little more white in there. We're good to go. You don't want to go much. If you put too much red in there, it's going to set your cloud on fire. And I don't really want a fiery red cloud. Let me save that for our bush. So we're going to put one. Oh, let's go with here. Just have a little bit of. Just tap in your little cloud shape here. It's going to come across this one just a bit. Maybe up here just a little while. It's just going to play around a bit. I'm going to put this one in front. I'm going to put some more over here. It's going to come out in front of below it. Oh boy, this big old canvas is having a fit up here. It's just moving around something terrible. Terrible, I tell you. That's all right. We'll get it figured out. Just top corner of that brush. Just keep turning and turning, churning and turning that cloud. This takes out some of leaves some dark and light in the innards of the cloud here. It takes off a little excess paint. So our next, whatever we put in front of all this, will stick a little better. Plus it also Again, hopefully you can. Hopefully I hadn't missed too much of it with the microphone change. But I looked over and a little light was flashing. So, and then, like I said, we got a nice little cloud here, or a nice little sky here. So just kind of remember that you're going to put a bunch of stuff in front of this, usually. Uh, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're composing your sky and your painting. Now, and we got a pretty good start on our painting. I'm gonna keep working this way and then back this way, and we'll move it back. I'm kind of moving back and forth here, so we can kind of squeeze all this in. Just cracks me up how big this thing is. We're gonna mix up some color here, some Prussian blue, some phthalo blue, I think a little sap green, a little bit of black, and some alizarin crimson. Those are the ones. Those are my basic colors for trees and mountains to start out with. Now, if I was going to do a mountain, I wouldn't add sap green to this mixture. I would probably put brown or something because you tend to have a green tint to a mountain if you do that. And when you put snow on your mountain, you don't really want green snow or yellow snow. Yellow snow, green snow, not too good. But we're not going to put a mountain in this one, or wait a minute. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to put a mountain. Yeah, it's an awful big. It is. I think we're going to have to put a mountain in this one, just because this thing is so huge. Well, we're going to put a mountain. This is going to be interesting, actually. Never done one quite this big, so we're going to have a little fun here. We'll put a big peak right there. Now you're going to scrape off all the paint inside here and underneath it. That'll scrape away some of your stuff beneath it, and that way your highlights and lowlights will stick onto it. Just keep that top edge nice and crisp. You want it sharp, because if you're looking at a mountain far off, that top edge is all you're really seeing. The rest of it's kind of faded in. So, my dad's not much of a winter person, so we may not put much snow up here, just a little in the higher elevations. And go for more of a Rocky Mountain type. He's kind of like a desert. He kind of likes the Rocky Mountain types anyway. So we'll see if we can show you how this is. I'm gonna come back around here and just put in any kind of shape you want as far as a mountain. If you've seen a mountain before, well, if you hadn't, look it up on Google it, man. Google it, you can see a mountain. And just put in any shape that looks like a mountain. But remember, if you're just starting out, you had never painted one before, first off, don't get a big canvas like this. But you do need a stretched canvas, not canvas board, if you're doing this wet on wet technique. Canvas board will dry out your paint too fast because it's got cardboard in the center of it, and you have a more limited time to work with it. With a stretch canvas, your canvas will stay wet for a good long time. You have plenty of time to work on one. So we're gonna put a nice little series of a range of mountains here.
Yes, there are mountain ranges on all 7 continents. Some of the more famous ones are.
Oh, shut up, Siri! I didn't ask. Pardon me, my phone decided to go ahead and tell me there are mountain ranges everywhere. I didn't ask her. Oh, anyway, I'm going to, as you can see, there's no editing here. No, we're just going to keep adding here. I'll scrape all that in the middle off. We're not really looking for that just yet. We're just getting these peaks and valleys for right now. Do something about like that on that side. Let's go over here now. And we'll just go shoot. Ooh, big one. Another big peak over here. But if you're just starting out and painting a mountain for the first time, don't do one that has a whole lot of peaks and valleys in it. Just start off with maybe one or two little peaks there, and then go get that down. And when you're comfortable with that, then do a one that's a little more difficult. You got to practice these things first before you raise your level of difficulty. You want to raise it right away. I know anybody can paint. It does take practice. I'll try never to tell you this is easy, because it only gets easier as you practice more. Right off the bat, you may not have too much success. I didn't. But some people do learn faster than others. But to try not to get discouraged if your first one does not look right. That just means you just need more practice. And just keep putting in your basic shapes there. Scrape a little bit of that cloud stuff off here. I think that's pretty good for a second or two. We're going to take, with this one, we're going to use that big 2-inch brush we put the sky on. It doesn't have to be clean, just barely dry. Try not to disturb that top edge, and just pull down. Pull it down. Try not to disturb that top edge when you're pulling, because you want that edge to be very crisp and clear. The rest of this down here we'll fix with highlights and lowlights and stuff. And just kind of phase this out just a little bit. There we go. Something about like that to start with. Now you see how that top edge there is nice and distinct right through there. That's what you want. That's what we want. Now then, we're gonna mix up a couple of different colors of brown and black and white, because we're gonna have this not gonna have any snow on it, and we're gonna have just kind of a big rocky mountain. We'll have some trees and some trees that come up the side here, stuff like that. Going to be a little different mountain than what you've seen me do in the past. But remember, you got to figure out which side of this thing the light's going to hit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all that mountain color that are the colors that we have here, put it off to the side because we'll use it again. But just kind of shove it off to the side, clean off place to work on your palette. On my palette, your palette, our palette, whatever. All right, we're going to take some Van Dyke Brown. Get 2 piles of this paint, maybe 3, because we're going to have different colors. And we're going to kind of play back and forth with it. Some burnt sienna. And you're going to have the 3 different colors here, I think. Some's going to have more black. Some's not going to have any black. Some will have ochre, yellow ochre. Add yellow ochre to one. Add a little black to another one. And then we're going to keep just Van Dyke Brown and burnt sienna with just a touch of white. So we're going to have 3 different piles of paint here. And you're going to loosely mix this paint. We don't want a lot of, we want that marbly look on on the paint. Okay, that might be a little too dark. That's all right. But we're gonna play with all these colors, and if we do this right, it'll look like a big old Rocky Mountain. So let me finish mixing my colors up here. And you want them a little marbly, because you're going to get all that variation of color. Let's put a little red in there too. What the heck? There'll be all kinds of different colors on this. So we're going to find out which way our light's going to hit. So we can have the highlights coming from that direction. I'm right-handed, so that's all. Most of the time, my highlights are going to be on the right side. It's just a little easier for me. So just like before, like we was putting snow on the mountain, I'm gonna put this dark color or the highlights and lowlights on this little rocky hill here. Very little pressure on the knife. Hold it very gentle and just very, very lightly. Just pull it down. Pull it down here, just like that. A little bit more on the knife there, I think. There we go. Just play with the colors till you get what you're looking for. There's a lot of paint on this canvas already. And so, but we should be able to do this really good, yeah. You just want that roll of paint on the end of your knife there. And we'll put a little bit of color here. This big old Rocky Mountain here. See that black coming through? That's what we want. This is we'll get some, and then just to show you what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a little bit of the really dark color over here. You know, play back and forth with this color, with all these colors, until you get exactly what you're looking for. If you know what you're looking for. Sometimes you just have to play with it. So we're just going to keep on going here, just like that. I'm going to have a few colors here and there. May add a little bit more of the lighter color over here. And just kind of keep playing with it until we figure out exactly what we're looking for. A little bit more over here. Excuse me. As you can tell, my allergies still haven't cleared up. I wish they would. I'm just going to put, this is mainly brown, black, and a little bit of white on these. And sometimes we go with over here with a little bit of the liquid ochre, yellow ochre in there. And put a little bit of shape and color and stuff into it. And I'm going to put a little bit more over here. A little bit over here. Now with this one sliding into this, you're going to have kind of a sweeping scape over here, or sweeping strokes. So we'll put that in there too, if we can do that here. There's a little bit of valley right there. I like that. And if you don't like this kind of a mountain, shoot, put your snow on it. All you've got to do. It just kind of reminded me of back home a little bit. We don't have the big mountains like that, but we do have a desert and brown scape where I'm from, Odessa, Texas. And we're not far from Big Bend area. But it has this kind of landscape to it. Kind of a deserty type mountains. But you can keep playing with these and playing and playing and playing. That's all we're going to do here. Just keep bringing it down. Just like you did the snow on the mountain. And I'm going a little slower on this one because I'm having to kind of guess what I'm doing here, okay? That's right. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. So, we're just kind of playing with it a bit. And maybe just a little bit of that there. I'll go all the way down, just like you would just like I say, just like you would if you're putting snow on the mountains. We're going to keep going here and put a little bit of a outcropping here of a different kind of rock or whatever, different color of a rock, I should say, because that's all a mountain is a big old rock, right? This one especially. And if you're sitting really close to your painting like I am, just kind of lean back, or if you're standing real close to it, take a step back, so you can get a little more perspective, a different perspective of it. Because you get up there real close, it's going to look different than what it would look like if you take a step back, and it might give you a little better idea of what you're going for here, or what you got. This one we're going to pull down as well. Come down with this one and go over just a little bit. We're going to have those two kind of come together a little bit. All right. Now we're cooking with gas or something. Maybe. Then we're going to a little darker color. We'll put some low lighters in here. Right here. That's really dark and it'll be a mean old looking mountain here. He's gonna be a mean one. He's been around for a while. He's seen things that he might not like. So now if something gets too dark, go back in there with the lighter color, with your highlighted color, and you can bring it back around. You just kind of have to keep playing with the colors and everything, and you'll bunch of practice, and shoot, you'll have what you want. At least I think so. It took me a long time to even get half this good, and some of this is not very good. Sometimes I have a painting where I have to just start all over. Hopefully this won't be one. But every painter out there, anybody that's ever painted a painting, has scraped it off and started over at one time or another. I guarantee it. I know I did. I still do. Sometimes these old paintings just, I don't know if it's just me, it just doesn't work quite right. So I have to start all over again. Something just don't look right half the time sometimes. And I start over. And there's nothing wrong with it. there. I think we're getting there. Go back and forth with the light and the dark. We'll put this one in front of that one. So I'm going to pull that lighter color down in front of it, and then that'll push that peak back just a bit. All you gotta do is do that right there. And it'll pull that down. Pull that one in front of it. And if you want a little bit different colors to it, add just whatever. These are the colors I just chose to use today. You can use any color you want. Shoot, you don't even have to have a mountain in your big old scene if you don't want it. You can do this scene with just trees, bushes, and whatnots. Bring the color back over this way just a little bit. We're going to get the little knife out here shortly because it's starting to get to the point where it's running tight spaces. It's a tough old looking mountain, isn't it? Well, Pop, if you're watching this one, he watches my videos sometimes. So if you are watching this, before I give this painting to you, this is your Father's Day gift. This is how it was made. Pop's one of my biggest supporters. He's one that told me back in the day when I was doing paint by numbers, he thought I could actually paint freehand like I'm doing now. He thought I could actually make a go of it, of actually painting whatever's in my head. And he's one of the ones that told me I could do it, should try it. So he's partly responsible for this big mess that I got going here. Woo-wee, isn't he big? Isn't it that's quite a painting there, isn't it, so far? We're going to add just a little bit of liquid ochre up here on the top, just to brighten these top peaks just a little bit. You know, that light catches that. You don't want to add too much to it. If you put too much on there, it's going to it's not going to have the impact that you want. So just at these little peaks that stick up just a little bit further than some of the others. Get a little bit of liquid ochre, or liquid. I keep trying to call it liquid ochre. It's not liquid ochre, jello ochre. And you see how that stands out? Looks like the light catches that just a little bit. I rather like that. I think that looks pretty cool. So anyway, that's going to be your basic little mountain for right now. Well, like I said, we're going to have some stuff in front of it and all this good stuff. So I'm going to take our 1-inch brush. I'm going to tap a little mist into it. And we're going to hold on here while I'm tapping. Tap in the direction your angle that your mountain is coming down in. Just don't want this to fall over. This is ain't much support holding this top one up, the top of this thing up. So we're just going to tap, tap, tap. And if you got color going this way, tap that way. Remember your angles. Angle of the mountain here. And this right here, we're just going to put in a little bit of tappy taps here. Now then, I'll get Knock off a little bit of that paint. Pull straight up, or not straight up, same angle as your mountain is going. Just gently, very, very gently. Just take some of those tap strokes out, tap marks out. Now there's our basic little mountain right there. Kind of weird looking, right? Oh, I know. Well, we'll see it. You'll see it. It'll get there. If I do it right, it'll get there. I'll clean off place on my palette here. It's kind of messy, messy, messy. Now, I do want to, while I'm cleaning my palette here, just a minute, I do want to take the time to thank everybody that's subscribed and that are tuning in, that's watching these. I appreciate you in bunches and bunches and bunches. So, uh, if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing it. Doesn't cost anything. It's free to subscribe. So, but I do appreciate everybody that is watching. And like I said before, I've got a website, jroilpaintings.com, oil paintings with an S.com. And I'm selling these. This one here will never be on the website. Like I said, this one's my dad's. So, but the rest of them that I have painted, some of them will be on the, some of them are on the website, and the rest of them will be on very shortly. Actually, I'll probably put some, later tonight. I'll put some new ones on online. Now we got us a mean looking mountain, but what we're going to do here next is take our little another. Let's just go with that 1-inch brush. I like it, and go into some sap green, just regular sap green. That's all we're going to take for right now. Maybe a little bit of phthalo green. We're going to have the two greens up there. Very little phthalo green, because boy, it is a stout color. It will take over. That's all right. We're going to get a little chiseled edge here. You're going to see how sharp that edge is right there? And we're going to tap in some little grassy tree areas. It's coming up this side of this here mountain. We're just going to tap in a few. If it's too light, you want to go a little lighter probably than this is. That's all right. We can get it. We can get it a little bit lighter. Just add a little bit of yellow to it, and brighten it up. That's what I'm doing now. It's just adding a little bit of yellow to this. I want it a little bit brighter and a little bit lighter in color, because this is going to be far back. And we'll just add just a little bit of lighter green up here. There we go. That's a little better. Just going to tap it in there. And it's going to come off the mountain about like that. I'm just going to tap a little bit of tree shape. This is going to be kind of like distant trees going up the side of the mountain. And how we do that, we take a clean brush and very little tiny itty bitty strokes, just barely lift up, straight up. Don't go at an angle, because trees grow straight up, and it doesn't matter if they're on an angle. And we just very gently raise those and just barely coming up just a little bit. About like that. So, like I say, just come straight up with them. And a few over here that does the same thing. Can't see them there, but about like that. So you got your indication of some little trees. I know it's hard to see on on that, but you do it and you can see these going straight up. And it looks like little trees going upside of your mountain. We're going to do that over here too. I kind of like that. I like the way that looks. Just get it whatever color you want on your for your trees, but go for a lighter color because the stuff in the far off distance is lighter in color than the stuff in the as it comes to you. It's going to get darker. That's what I'm trying to say. And the stuff way back here. Hold on to this. It's tapping too much. Stuff back here doesn't do that. It's going to be light in color. Just go up the side of your mountain just a little bit. Something like that. You're going to have just a few of these. Just about something like that there. Like this. We're going to come off there right like that. We're going to take our dry or clean 1 inch and just barely lift up straight up. Very short strokes. Get over here where you can see what I'm doing here. I like that. Oh, nice short strokes. Straight up. And it'll look like you got a lot of little trees going up this mountain. Don't worry, there's going to be stuff in here. You ain't want to see it. So, don't worry too much about the bottom of this mountain. You're not going. It'll be all covered up with lots of trees and all kinds of good stuff like that. So now we're going to go. What else are we going to do? We're going to have some foreground, some trees, and some other good stuff. But I'm going to finish out this side of the painting first, or a lot of it. Can't go too nuts with finishing it out because, well, you want to move forward in the whole painting, or you tend to mess things up where you needed to put something in the background that's going to be a booger of a bear to put in the background if you don't do it now. So we're going to just kind of work our way forward. That's what I'm trying to say. Work our way forward. And we're going to go to take some of that dark color that we mixed up that has some green in it. We'll add just a little bit more green. And then we're going to add some, before we pick up a brush, we're going to add a little bit of white to this mixture and lighten it up just a little bit. I want it a little darker than this over here, but not as dark as what's going to be in the foreground. And we're working our way forward. We ain't there yet, but we are working our way forward. I know this is kind of a thin paint, or thin painting, rather. Now, this has a lot of blue in it, so it doesn't matter if it's got a blue tint to it. It's going to have a little bit of a green hue on it, but it's going to be a little lighter in color than all this rest of it. So I'll just do something like this. We're going to just do a bunch of evergreens because that's what that kind of looks like. And we'll have a little foothill in here. And we're going to be kind of like in the middle of summer here, so we're not going to have any snow on the ground. We'll just have grass and trees and good stuff like that. So we're going to go over here. We're going to cover up some of these pretty areas here. We're going to have we're just going to take the top corner of the brush, make sure your fan brush, this is number 6, has lots of paint on it. And you're just going to pull down, but just like that. All right. I don't want to cover this up too much because, we put that in there. It looks really nice. makes people know what that's supposed to be. Supposed to be some far off trees. I just pull straight down with it. Don't make you don't make all these little trees the same height. Vary it in size and shape. Reload as necessary on your brush. Just make sure you have plenty of paint on that brush. Whoops. I just bumped into the camera. Sorry about that. And then we're just going to keep going like this until you think we shouldn't. Wherever you want to stop, you stop. If you're going to go too much, if you're not going to go all the way across, which we're probably not going to, kind of start getting these trees a little bit smaller and smaller as you go, and then they'll just kind of work itself out where they're not there anymore. I'm only holding the top of my painting because it's moving around a little too much. This is a very long painting, so I'm just going to do something about like this. Nice short strokes when you start putting these, getting them a little smaller. You have a few that are pretty good size in there. And we'll do something here in just a minute. I'll show you a little bit. I'm kind of thinking of this as I'm going. I'm composing as we go today. I wasn't real sure exactly what we're going to do. Still not. So we're kind of playing this by ear. I like doing that. And you can do this as well as soon as you get more comfortable with how to do this kind of stuff. You can compose as you go. Now, if you're one of these that prefers to draw your painting on there before you do it, use tracing or whatever to do it. Now, that liquid white will cover it, and you can still see, because you're going to put a real thin coat of liquid white to start this with. So if you put the tracing on first, put the liquid white on there, you'll still be able to see through that liquid white to your tracing. Then you can do it from there on. I personally don't like to do tracing, but that's just me. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't do it. I prefer to kind of do as I go. I'm just going to keep going. Excuse me. And we'll just keep going there. Now this is starting to, we're going to go up just a little bit, kind of have a heel right here. So I think straight across. If you go straight across all the way, it's going to just look like a line of trees, which there's nothing wrong with. That's what you want. But me, I prefer to go kind of jagged edge look to it where these trees kind of keep going up just a little bit, block the bottom of that mountain. You can go up you can go wherever you want to on these. Put as many of these as you want. And you can put multiple layers of these trees. If you're going to put another foothill in here and go in front of this, then you just go a little bit darker. You can tap the bottom of this here in a minute anyway. And we'll just, we'll put another little one here in just a second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is kind of tedious when it gets this big because it just keeps going and going and going. I started not to do this one as a video, but I thought, you know what? It's a little different than what we've done so far. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And we're going to keep going. We're going to stop about right in here someplace for this first layer of little foothills. somewhere about like that. We're going to stop for that just for a second. I'll put my brush down where it ain't rolling off. The brush wants to run away from me. We're going to get our, there's our 1-inch brush. And we're going to just tap the bottom of this. This will be your separator for whatever you put in front of this. But tap straight down. Tapping fairly hard. You don't have to go nuts with it, but you do want to get all those kind of indistinct bases of these trees. You just don't really want to see where they stop. See how that you can see where it stops, but these you really can't. And this is going to be your separator for whatever goes in front of these. And then we're just going to gently lift up. There we go, something about like that. Just get that off there. Now then, we're going to take our fan brush and we got to go from the other side. But you're not going to be able to see too much without me moving it back over. So we need to get this back in frame. Now, we got these at a certain color. We got it a little, so we're going to put some over here. It's going to be a little darker. It's going to go in front of some of these. So we're going to go, let's just go a little bit of black on your brush. And that way it'll darken it up, that same color we just used, but with a little black in it. That way it's a bit darker, but not screaming dark. You know what I'm saying? You want to darken it as you go. You don't want to just go huge leaps in front of it, or it's going to look a little strange. I've made that mistake before. That's why I know. So we're going to go, let's say right here, kind of upwards. Same strokes, just like that. That's all you're doing. You're pulling down. Like I say, don't get them all the same size. You want to vary in various lengths of tree here. Otherwise, it ain't gonna look right. It looks like a picket fence if they're all the same length. But if you just did this all the time, it wouldn't look quite right, would it? So if you're doing that, just add a couple of longer ones in there, and you can save your trees. Now this is going in front of all those nice little trees we just made up here. I know it don't really look like nice little trees, but it is. Can't see them on camera, but when you're doing this at home, you'll be able to see it. We'll just pull all these in front of these. Maybe put a couple on top there. And we're just going to go down. Now we just want to keep that dark color in there. And keep a lot of paint on your brush. Like that. If you find it yourself, it looks like it's getting too much of a picket fence look, just add a few more to it. Just add a few more down strokes to it, and you'll be back in business. Yeah, this is not going to be a winter scene. We're not going to no snow on the mountain, so it's already melted off. I'm thinking it's like summer. Yeah, before all the snow falls, we'll have. So we're not gonna have a lot of fall colors in our bushes. It's gonna be a lot of greens, browns, that kind of stuff. Yeah, then just keep adding it. Just keep adding the trees to wherever you think they need to stop. Like I said, I'm gonna come down in front of these just a little bit, so we're gonna keep going for quite a while here. You can use you can do this with any kind of with just about any brushes that I use. You can do this with an oval brush. You can use it with the round brush. You can use it with 2-inch brush, 1-inch brush. All you do is it's basically the same thing. You're tapping in little shapes. Most of the trees that's going to be in this one are going to be little evergreens. So I'm choosing the fan brush because it's making the little evergreen, far off evergreen shapes fairly easy. You just pull them straight down with it. So add a few more over here just because. My golly, we almost got it done here. This part of it anyway. This is what it's going to do. It's going to go off like that. You'll see in just a second. Well, in a few minutes. I ain't going to say seconds. So, shoot, if any of y'all got any questions or want to know anything that I haven't said already, just let me know. Uh, shoot. If you want to, like I say, if you want to check out my website, it's jroilpaintings.com. These will all be for sale except for this one. Like I said, this one's going for Pop. It's my dad's painting for Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, Pop. I know it's a little early, but well, I painted for my mother when she was alive. One of the first paintings I ever gave my mom was a yellow rose. She wanted a yellow rose painted. So I painted her one. And so she's been gone for almost 8 years now. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but sometimes it seems like it's been longer. Oh, anyway, we're just going to keep doing this until we decide. And now you can start to see the different colors. What I was talking about. You got the lighter color back here, and you got the darker color in front. So it'll look like two different layers of trees. Give you painting a little depth, a little distance. It's what some people like in their painting. I do. I like that myself. Just kind of gives it a nice little realistic approach to it a little bit. We'll go just a little couple more inches further here, and then we'll move on. Then we're going to do some grassy areas, little meadow, stuff like that. Some closer trees, all that kind of good stuff. That's right. And we're just gonna push down, pull down on for your trees here. Just pull it straight down. think we're going to call that good. We're going to have some trees and other stuff in there, so I think we're going to stop right there on that part of it. Get our big 1-inch brush here, and we're going to just tap straight down just like we did before that, especially up here. Now, if you had water here, you wouldn't tap straight down. You just pull straight down with them and cause reflections. But we're not going to have water in this scene, so we're just going to get a little misty area here. That way it takes out the bottoms of those trees. And then we're just going to lift up. Very gently lift straight up. Something like that. Now then, I know we got some stuff here. Don't worry about that stuff. We'll get that out of there in just a little bit. Now I think we're going to put in some little rolling hills. And for that, we're going to pile up my paint again. It's scattered all over my palette here. There we go. Now we're going to put in some dark area, then we're going to go out with the highlights. So this is being considered what I'd consider my low lights. I'll get the little base color for some grassy areas. We'll just take a little dirty 2-inch brush, pull it through that paint, get a nice glob of paint on your brush there, just a tip. Just kind of go back and forth with it until you got a nice edge there. About something like that there. You're just going back and forth in the paint until you get that kind of sharp edge on there. This is what I like to do as far as a nice rolling hill or whatever. Now we got all this here, so we're just going to tap. Figure out how your land goes. It's going to be in front of all these trees. You don't want too many sharp angles. It was one of my mistakes early on, was I would literally go humpy like that. They look like turtles. My heels did. That's fine if that's what you're going for. Well, it's what one I was going for then. Sure ain't what I'm going for right at the moment. You can go just some nice little sweeping hills, but these kind of follow the lay of your trees here already. Because you've already got something back there. So we're just going to keep following that just a little bit. I want this nice and dark. So that's where, that way your highlights will show up a little more. It's just kind of your base coat for your land or for your grass. Be sure to tap and don't slide. If you start sliding, it does sound like that. And with the base coat, it's not too bad, because you could literally just paint this on. And I'm kind of practicing my strokes, so you could just do that. And then paint and do your highlights on it. But we're going to brush this up just a little bit here to do that. And then we're going to just go up there just like that. Something about like that to start with. Actually, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do this on this side over here too. And we're going to have to go just a little, well, see there? I already did what I told you not to do. Not go too sharp of an angle. I did, didn't I? And we'll just kind of follow that off. About like that. We're going to go ahead and fill in the rest of this canvas. Oh, you can't see that over there because I hadn't moved the canvas yet. Well, we're just going to paint this on. Now this is just our bottom coat. We'll put in highlights here in just a second. But I want that all this nice and dark. Has a little bit of a green tint anyway. So we're just going to fill the rest of this in with our base coat, our base color here for the grassy areas. When you're first starting out, you might want to tap all this mess in. You might not. First time I tried just painting it on there and then tapping in the color, the highlights, I didn't like the way it looked. I couldn't make it work right. And then I kind of figured out what I was doing wrong. So I could do it now. But it's all about practice. So just practice tapping your dark color in like you would if it was the highlights. Then you'll get used to that stroke. And then once you get used to that, once you practice a bit with that, then you could go ahead and paint it in like this and then put your highlights in like you would and tap them in. But this is going to be kind of like what we're looking for here. And like I say, there'll be trees and stuff in all this. There we go. But that's just kind of the way we're having it going right now. We're going to have other trees and stuff, but so far, so good, right? Right. Of course, that's right. Not really, but here we go. We're going to try some different colors and have some fun here. So we're going to dip this Monster 2-inch brush in the liquid white. We're going to use that same color, that same brush that we used just to put that highlights on. It's already got blue and green in the brush, so it's going to turn a little green when you add yellow and a little bit of white, liquid white. Add a little bit of yellow ochre to it every once in a while. And Indian yellow as well. Now, since we got the camera over here where we can see, we'll start this way and work that way. But we're just tapping. Tap a little bit of that color on there. And if you want like taller grass, bend your bristles up just a bit. Just about like that right there. See there? I have to do that a little bit further now. Just kind of get you a little bit of color in there. And then just tap down here. That way it looks like you got taller grass down there, up there. And just keep adding your a little liquid white, a little bit of yellow ochre, a little bit of black here and there just to darken it up, and a little bit of greens, a little bit of green here and there, and just tap it into your brush. And we're going to tap it onto this color. Now there's a lot of blue and green in this color that we got on here. It'll transform your color into that same green. And if you don't like the way it's looking, add a little bit of different colors. You can brighten it up with a little bit of yellow, a little bit of phthalo green. Phthalo green's a bit of almost an emerald green. You mix that with these other colors, you got something pretty good going here. You got all kinds of different colors and everything. And we just add that. There we go. See there, we got some brighter colors there. And just keep varying this color back and forth till you get everything the way you want it. The more you tap, the more it'll pick up that color underneath and change the color of your grass just a bit. And you just keep tapping all this in. And we'll get some, like I say, we'll get some other stuff going on here with trees and stuff. But shoot, we'll have this going on in no time at all. There we go, something about like that. Just kind of keep the lay of the land, keep traveling the way you're going. Watch your angles. And if you all of a sudden go straight with some different color just like that, it's going to look a little strange because you got a hill going there. And so then just kind of keep going. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get all that fun stuff covered up. A little more liquid, a little more yellow ochre in here, just to change the flavor a little bit. You're going to leave some of that dark showing through there. You'd be looking like you have a real low spot if you don't cover that up. Leave it in there. And we just keep on trucking. And the more you tap this, the smoother it'll get. If you don't like certain areas, just tap over it a little bit. It'll come back. It'll go to. Get a little bit of Indian yellow in this. A little bit of the other colors. We just kind of tap them on your brush there. And if you've watched if you watched me paint before, you know that a lot of this may not be covered or may be covered up, but I always put it in there because you never know. The way I paint, I don't know what's coming next until I get after it. That's why I don't leave anything blank. You know, like I did. If I did stop here because I do know there's going to be a big tree covering that up, but I don't know where it's going after that. So I just cover everything up with whatever the background and all that good stuff. That way, if I'm going to have a lot of grass in the area, it'll be behind the tree. It'll be under the tree. And you never know what's going to show up. Some of this won't be seen, some of it will. We go back into some liquid ochre. I keep trying to call it liquid ochre. It's yellow ochre. And yeah, what rain just ain't working today. Just keep tapping it in. See if you move it on the canvas, you're going to get you a smeared spot like that. And if you do, just tap on it. And the more you tap, the smoother that grass will get. Oh, I'll add a little bit more yellow to this. And we'll brighten some spots up here a little bit. just tapping, tapping, tapping. I don't know. I don't really have a schedule about when I'm going to upload paintings or, do another one or whatever. Um, like I think I've said before, I just have I have a regular 8 to 5 job. It's kind of depending on how busy of a day or how long of a day I've had, whether I'm going to paint or not. Painting is a nice way to unwind after a day. Today wasn't too bad. We had a lot of meetings today, so it was kind of, yeah. But I will upload. This is going to be uploaded shortly. Of course, if you're seeing this, it's already uploaded. So I am here in Fort Worth, Texas. Is where I'm based out of. Here in my lovely home in Fort Worth, Texas. So if you see a painting you like on my website, give me a shout. We'll see about delivering the painting to you, and you'll save shipping costs. But you got to be in the Dallas Fort Worth area to do that. I can't go around the United States delivering paintings. I wish I could, though. That'd be a fun thing to do, wouldn't it? Paint something and hand deliver it to people. That would be cool. Meet all kinds of people. Did that. Granted, some people you might not want to meet, but you meet interesting people. People, I don't know why people don't just actually talk more to people. I get out and talk a lot on the weekends. I like to go out and have a drink or two with some folks and just start talking to folks. It's a lot of fun. There's some interesting stories too. I'm going to move the painting back so we can get the rest of that grassy area in there. So I'm just going to keep adding yellow ochre. I said yellow ochre this time. Indian yellow, regular cad yellow, a little bit of liquid white every once in a while. Just tap it in your brush there. We'll finish out this grassy area and then we'll get to real fun stuff. Trees and stuff. Gotta steady my painting here. I hope my head's not in the way over here. Okay, good. Took me a while to get this angle just so where I wasn't in your way all the time. I know I'm still in the way some, but you can't do this and be out of area anyway, right there. So it's about like that. We're just gonna keep on going. Add a little bit of liquid white to our mixture here. Lighten it up just a little bit. Add a little yellow ochre to it, a little bit of Indian yellow. Tap all that into your brush there. And then tippy tap it out. You need a really strong easel, the one that will hold your painting nice and tight. And normally I have that, but this one's a bit long, so it don't hold the edges too well, so I'm having to do that. Having to hold with one arm, paint with the other. One of my very first practice videos I did with that I didn't release on this channel, but I was trying to film with one arm and paint with the other one. My camera was all over the place. Okay, we're going to do something about like that. There we go. Now we have some nice grassy area and a nice little mountain, some foreground trees. So we're going to go ahead and put some trees over there since that's in the frame of shot right now. And we're going to get our big uh, pile up some paint again. It's getting, it kind of goes all over the palette if I don't keep piling it back up. So I'm going to do that real quick. Do a little housekeeping here for just a second. And my palette is big, but it seems never to be big enough. Always seems to be that I need a bigger palette. So we're going to go about like that. Put the rest of the black in there, I think. Darken it up just a little bit more sap green in there too, I think. Just to get a little bit more paint there. I was getting close to being running out there, but not close enough. So anyway, about like that. I'll get a little paper towel there, wipe off my old knife. And now then we'll go to our big fan brush, number 6 fan brush. Load it full of paint. We're going to make some good size evergreen trees here. Yeah, ooh, look at all that paint in there. We got some big time paint. Look at that. It's all the way up to the ferrule there. We're going to go over here and put on a big tree. Put on a big tree? Make a big tree. I think we'll put one right there. That's what I'm thinking. Go to the corner of your brush and just use that corner and bounce it back and forth. Hold my name gun painting again. You're just going to add more pressure on the way down. Stick some of those limbs out. I told you it was going to have a big tree right over here. It is too, isn't it? Look at that sucker. He's huge. That's all right. We like them big. Don't worry. There will be a big red bush in here too. I have a big red bush. But it'll be here in a minute. We ain't even got to the bushes yet. Gotta play with the mountain first. So we got the mountain and some trees. I think we need another tree. Say right. Maybe not quite as big this one. I'll put one right there. I don't want to cover up too much of this right here because I kind of like that area, and we put it in there so we could see it, show you how it's done, but I like the way that looks. So we're going to try not to cover most of that up. We're just going to put one more tree here, a few bushes, that kind of thing. Just use the corner of the brush first. This one's getting a little bit wild here. If you want a big fat tree, just use the whole fan brush. Just put on a lot of pressure and you'll have a nice big fat tree. Hey, we got one going there. Do that like that right there. About like that. Then we got two big old trees sitting right there. And then we're going to do something else here in just a minute. You'll see. I think we're going to put a smaller tree. Just because I found a spot where I want it. This is what I like, but this one I don't like tracing. Because if it's tracing, then if you see something that think would be an interesting aspect to it. You already got it traced out, and you're like, really don't want to do that. So we're gonna put in a tree right here, a little small one, about right there. And just as the corner of the brush there. Yeah, just like that. Whew, boy, this is. Well, we're gonna stop him about right there. He's gonna be behind these guys. So he does need a little buddy beside him, maybe a little girlfriend or boyfriend. I don't know. Never know about trees. They might like. They might. I can't tell which is boy and which is girl. What's what. But this little guy needs a buddy. And we're gonna put one right next to him. About right there. He's gonna be a little fatter tree, I think. I like that. Well, we got a couple of trees. He's gonna be behind that, but we're not gonna put too much on it. Too much else there. Have a bush or two, and that's about it. And we're just going to keep adding some trees and some other things here and there. But, and we'll just keep on trucking. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put some bushes over there before we add any highlights or tree trunks or anything. And for these bushes today, I think we're going to use the round brush. You see, it's kind of has an oval shape to it, but it's more round. This is a half size. The full size is about twice as big. A little harder to hold on to this big, so I don't use it very often, but I do use it. So we're going to use the half size because it's easier to control. We're dipping it into that. We're tapping it and a little bit of color to that same color we've been using for the trees. Just tap some color into it, about like that. And then decide where you're going to put some bushes. We're going to put some bushes here, there, or where. We're going to put some bushes right here. Whew, hold on to it. Look away, I tell you. We're just going to put a few lonely little bushes here and there. Not too lonely though. Got these big trees to keep them company. Now, before we add bushes here, because it's going to cover up some of that, I'm going to put in some highlights for these bushes, for those bushes and those trees. But before we go too heavy into these trees, I'm going to scratch in just a little bit of a trunk. Not like that. You don't have to always paint in your trunks. You can scratch in a twig or stick or here and there, and you can do that with your bushes before you put any color on there, because your highlights are going to cover up some of this. Some of it will show off, but I like that, something like that. And now we're going to go into our little fan brush, number 3, and we're going to go into some yellow, cad yellow, with a bit of liquid white. Now this is going to have to be a lot thinner than the other paint. We got a lot of paint on the canvas right there. We'll mix in all the yellows here. Cad yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow. And then to that, you're going to add just a little bit of the blue and black, and phthalo green. Add a little bit more of the white, liquid white. You want this thin. If it still doesn't stick, add just a little bit of thinner. And you don't want much thinner on that, but you want just enough for it to stick. Now we don't want a whole lot of detail back here. We want some. So we're just going to tap just a little bit of color into this little bitty evergreen over here. About like that. And then we're going to do the same with him, but we got to add some more color. Just keep adding a little amount of color here and there and there and here. And then we'll just keep going. And then we'll do the bushes back there. There, something about like that. Here's what I get out of this. And now we'll go to our highlight color for the bushes. Now, you all know I like my big red bushes. So I'm going to tap a little bit of red with liquid white on the brush. And we're going to put on a little bush show here. Now we got a little bit of red here with the liquid white. And we're going to just tap in a nice little bush shape right here. I like that. And now we're going into the yellow with a little bit more liquid white in there. We're just using that liquid white for to thin it out. But it's mixing with that same color on the brush, a little bit of yellow, and kind of got a pinkish orange flavor to it. I'll put that over here on this side. And one over here, just the same way. Picking up some of that color underneath, and it'll turn to different colors. That color underneath will make it turn more of a green color. About like that. Now, we'll take our grass color with our and tap under that just to kind of create a little bit of a shadow under there. A little darker. Clean up the edges of those bushes right there. I like that. And we got a nice little trees with our nice little bushes right there. Now then we're going to put in some bushes along these two big trees right here. Same way, just tap in some color on your brush, and we're going to open up my thinner because I know we're going to need some thinner on these, definitely. I always make a mess when I do that. One of these days when y'all get to know me better, I get to know y'all better, I'll show you this mess I got going on here. It is a messy mess. So we're going to go just a little bit of thinner on the brush, tap into that dark color. And then we're going to go over here, and we're going to start putting bushes. Right in there, just something like that. A little bit more of the dark color with a little bit thinner on the brush. And I'll add just a little bit more darkness over here. And here and there. I like that. Now we'll get we're going to put a few, I think we're going to do what I did earlier. I like that. We're going to scrape in a nice little trunk here. And a little detail here and there. We'll do that at the end here. Now we'll get our, I think I like putting the highlights on the trees first. Like doing that a little better than, you know, than the bushes first. You go to trees first, you can put the bushes on top of it. If you go to bushes first, it don't always work quite like you want it to, or at least quite like I want it to. But try any way you want to do it. There we go, got enough. And then we'll just back and forth here on this little dude. It'll go darker as it comes down here. Because it will. As it goes down, it'll get darker, right? Add just a touch of that Prussian blue to that, and you'll have a nicer looking green. At least I like it better anyway. With a little of the two other yellows in it. And just a touch of thinner. You don't want much thinner, it doesn't need to be much, but there's a lot of paint right there as we're going over. So you're gonna need a lot of thinner paint, because you know what they say, thin paint will stick to your thick paint. And you just tap a few colors, a little bit of color on here, a few little highlights here and there. There you go. Try to vary your colors on your highlights. That way your trees will stand out a little bit more than they do if you don't. So we're going to go into some liquid white and go into some permanent red here, bright red. We're going to have to put some nice little bush shapes in here. And we're going to have a big one here. And the more paint you got on here on your brush, the easier it will be for it to come off and stay on to the, you know what I'm saying? It'll stay on the painting. I have some of that green, yellow, all that kind of good stuff here. And we'll just tap it. A few nice little bush shapes here. Like that. There. And get into the yellows. The yellow ochre, which is right here. There's a little bit of thinner on it. And a little bit of blue. And then we'll have a really pretty change of color for our next bush. Just vary the colors back and forth here just a little bit. About like that, say there. And just keep going until you get the color you want and until your all bushes are all highlighted up. But you want plenty of paint on the brush here. Don't cover all the dark stuff up, because you cover all the dark up, it'll look flat. You won't like it. That was a mistake I made way early on. Just do one bush at a time. You got plenty of time when you're doing this, because you don't have to finish in any certain time. No matter how long it takes you. There, something like that. Then we take in our knife and scrape some more twigs and sticks here and make it look like branches, trunks. Leave it mainly to the dark. I like that, something like that. We're going to slide this way just a little bit because now we're going to go on to this other side. There we go. Now that's already done. That side is done, so we're not going to keep going back and forth here. Now we'll finish it off here on this side. All right. It's kind of weird how I had to do that sometimes, but you got to do what you got to do, right? All right, now we got a naked spot over here. And I don't think we should have a naked spot over there. I think we should have a tree over there. I think we should have a big old tree right over here. Really big tree. And we'll get into that dark color we made, which has all our dark colors on it. Load that fan brush just as full as you can get her. And we're going to go way up here, right across that pretty cloud we had here. And just touch. Like I say, you don't want to go, make that little line right there. You don't want to go all the way to the top of that line when you first put your first branch on there, because that's the rest of your trunk sticking up. And it's all right if it doesn't look quite right. We'll fix it all with another tree and highlights and everything. And we just keep bouncing it in there. I like that. I'm going to stop that one right there. You thought it was going to be a huge tree, didn't you? I did too, actually. But I thought I'd stop right there. We're going to put him a friend right here next to him. Now this guy is going to be a big one. It's going to go almost off the canvas, but not quite. Oh, right there is where we're going to start him. Out all over that pretty little cloud we made. Look at that. That's why I say make more clouds than you think you want, because you'll sure cover some of them up. So make a few extra. I like that. Those pretty good little trees without any highlight on them so far. But there we go. I think we're going to keep going with them. Now then, we're going to put a few little, there it is, a few little dark bushes on it. A little bush here and a little bush there, here bush, there bush. And we're just going to bush it up, right? Just a few little ones. About like that. A few in front of it. Not like that. Something like that. Now then, we'll take just scratch in a couple because we're going to cover most of that stuff up anyway. So we'll go back into our yellow with a little bit of thinner on it, and the blues and the yellows. And we'll put some good highlights on these old trees. We're going to see which one's going to stand in the foreground. I think the big one's going to be in the foreground, so we'll put some on this guy first. I like that. And then we're going to get this big guy up here. Add just a touch of phthalo blue, Prussian blue with this. And a little bit more thinner. And we're going to go with this other one now. Just might load it full of paint. And then we'll go boink, doink, doink. Just like you made the tree. I go back and forth, just tapping a little bit of color in there. About like that. That's what we like looking like. Now then we're gonna go with our highlight color. And again, we're gonna do some little redness here. About like that. Now you'll see some other colors in there, your oranges and your yellows and such. That's why we don't clean the brush. You get all this good stuff on it. And you see a multitude of colors in your bushes. Like they got little flowers and stuff on them, and stuff like that. But you just want to just tap it in there. Tippy tappy tap. Tippy tappy tippy tap. Until you're satisfied with what you've got there. Now then, we get our grass brush here and just tap it along the bottom, clean up them edges. Get a little bit of darkness under there as a shadow color. And be like a little shadow underneath those big trees. And then we'll take our knife, cut in a few little sticks and twigs, trunks and such enough. What's holding all these pretty leaves up. Just kind of stick to the dark where you're scratching in your twigs and stuff. And you're not going to hurt that canvas. Let me tell you, that canvas is tough. And there we go. We have beginnings of a pretty cool little painting here so far. Now, what's next? What should we do next? Well, I think we're going to have a few more bushes on here, and then we may just call that one part 1. What we're going to do here is I'm going to put another 16 by 20 canvas on that side of it. We're going to finish out that tree and the sky over there, see if we can't match it up. And it's going to be a little bit bigger. We may not get to that part 2 part 2 tonight. We'll probably do part 2 tomorrow night because it's already 9:30. And you know, us old folks need our sleep. So we're just going to tap in a few bushes right here. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, tap in a few things here and there. a big one right here. There's that, maybe a big one right here. Another little one right there. A couple of smaller ones. And meet that one right there in the center, right there, just about like that. And we'll get our brush that has highlight colors on it, and we'll just keep going. Now we're gonna have that one right there. And maybe over here. That's why I like mixing the colors on the brush, because you get a multitude of colors, and now you have to just tap, and you get all kinds of pretty little effects coming out. And sometimes you have, like, this one here's got yellows, oranges, reds, blues. Greens going through there. All kinds of colors, just aching to get out of that brush. But that's why we don't clean our brushes here. Or at least when you're putting your highlights on here, I don't clean my brush. But if you get too many different colors through there, and some pretty colors, so we're looking, there's a bright one. It just has a little bit of liquid white on it, on the very tip of the brush. And you get all kinds of pretties. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is if you're going to put green on these, try not to match the green behind it, because it'll mess you up. Cause you all kinds of problems. It'll just, your bush will just melt into the background. Just do one at a time. Don't get in any hurry. There we go. I like that. Take your knife there and scratch in your sticks, twigs, and branches that are holding all these pretty little leaves up. And just go through there and just do wherever you want to do this. So, there we go. About like that. And I think part one of that painting is complete. But like I say, it's getting a little late, so we're not going to do part two of this just yet. So I do appreciate everybody that has subscribed, like I said before. And if you like this painting, give us a little subscription poke on the button there. And this was a rather long one. Tomorrow night's is going to be a little shorter. It's just going to be a 16 by 20 canvas that we're going to tack on to the end of this one. And if we do it right, it's going to look like a 16 by 60 canvas when we're done. We'll see if that works out or not. But for tonight, I think we're going to call that one good. I'm not going to sign this one yet. I'm going to sign both of them at the same time tomorrow night, and we'll see how this one goes. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I know it was a rather long one, but give us a little like if you do. And if you don't, that's okay too. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we will talk to you shortly. Bye bye.